Hey, Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now. And today, let's go ahead and break down the 4 best position groups on the Philadelphia Eagles going into the 2020 season. So my rankings from 4 to 3 to 2 and all the way down to number 1. Remember, group, not individual player. Group overall, meaning the overall quarterback group, the overall cornerback group, whatever it is, and we'll go so on and so forth. Let's start, though, at number 4 with the quarterbacks. Now, when you think quarterback on the Philadelphia Eagles, you instantly think Carson Wentz. But overall as a group, the Eagles have some of the better backups in the National Football League, as they have had, as most Eagle fans know, over the past couple of years. So Carson Wentz not only is coming off of a monster year, and he will be the quarterback, obviously, for the entire season. Hopefully he's going to stay healthy as well, as he's probably planning on staying healthy. But the Eagles re-signed Nate Sudfield, who was the backup to a 1-year deal, and they drafted Jalen Hurts at the number 52 overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. So not only do you have a superstar quarterback, a top 5 quarterback in the NFL in Carson Wentz, but you have some depth behind him where, if heaven forbid, you could not only bring in Nate Sudfeld, who knows the system, that's why they re-signed him, or Jalen Hurts, who has all the upside in the world, according to Doug Peterson and Howie Roseman. The big deal with the Eagles this year is Carson Wentz not only coming off of that monster year, but having plenty of weapons to deal and dish to, which he did not have towards the latter part of the 2019 season. The new weapons are unreal. Like, you get Jalen Reagor, you get Marquise Goodwin, you get John Hightower, you get Quez Watkins, a bunch of unrestricted free agents as well, and undrafted free agents, I should say. These new weapons, provided with the healthiness of the normal Eagle wide receivers in Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey, should allow Carson Wentz to take his 29 touchdowns last year and just explode, just absolutely blow up this year, hopefully into the 30 to 35 touchdown range, as he has been capable of doing and showing over the past couple of seasons. So even if Carson Wentz were to get hurt, there are still enough star players, not really star players, but enough weapons on the outside to where Sudfield, I think, could come in and win some football games. And heaven forbid Jalen Hurts has to come in, he probably could win some games as well. So my number 4 group, getting started here on my list of the best position groups on the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to start with the quarterback, because the quarterback position to me is stacked for Philadelphia, and it all starts obviously and centers around the superstar top 5 quarterback that he is. His name is Carson Wentz. Now, predict Carson Wentz's stats in 2020 in the comment section down below right now. It's got to be 30 plus. I think 30 plus, less than 10 30 plus touchdowns, less than 10 interceptions. That's where I would go, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And of course, if you want to see Carson Wentz and the rest of the Eagles play in 2020, you got to do our part. Everyone's got to do their part. Got to wear a mask right now. And if you want to get a mask that looks good and reps the Eagles, we have some great Eagles face coverings for you guys here at chatsports.com/Eagles mask. You, of course, can get the Carson Wentz mask, which you see on your screen right now. It's back ordered, but you can get your name on the list for that. And then we have the typical 2-pack for $19.99 and the 3-pack for $24.99 as well. So look good, stay safe, protect yourself and others, and rep the Eagles mask there. Chatsports.com/Eagles mask. Link is down below in the description box. Moving on, number 3 on my list to me is another fantastic position group for the Philadelphia Eagles, and that is the tight end position group, which might be the best tight end position group in the entire National Football League. You got Ertz, you got Goddard, and even Josh Perkins, who played a lot of tight end and wide receiver once Ertz was injured and everyone else was injured toward the end of the 2019 season. Big deal here, Zach Ertz will be 100% in 2020. Had a bunch of injuries, lower body, lacerated kidney. He's fully healthy, he's good to go, and a healthy Zach Ertz is one of the 3 best tight ends in the NFL, probably the 2nd best tight end in the NFC alone. Dallas Goedert progressed very, very nicely over the course of his career. First year, you were like, okay, not exactly what I was hoping for. Last year, it was like, okay, Dallas Goedert can really fill the role for Zach Ertz. I was watching some Eagles film a couple of days ago, and Goddard can immediately come in and be Zach Ertz if Zach Ertz is either not there or injured or for whatever reason. But both of them on the football field should be very, very exciting this year. And as we said, Josh Perkins played his role in 2019 as a backup and played very, very well, especially down the stretch in a couple of those games. The Giant game was huge for Josh Perkins, as he had a couple of big catches to go ahead and move the chains. Now, again, Ertz is better than Dallas Goedert. We all understand that. But Goddard is starting to trend up and getting closer and closer and closer. If Ertz had played 16 games like he was supposed to in 2019, these stats would be a little bit better. But Goddard is crunching in. I mean, he's right there. 58 catches, 607 yards, and 5 touchdowns overall. And the progression by Dallas Goedert, again, he basically doubled his catches. He's basically doubled his yards, and his touchdowns have increased each and every year. So it's easy to say, 58 catches last season? That can go up to 75 or 80 catches, easily 900 yards, and hopefully 5 or 6 touchdowns. He's a big-time red zone threat. He's a big-time third down threat, and he's everything the Eagles were hoping he would be, paired up with Zach Ertz. The hope is now you get both of them on the football field with some speed on the outside, which the Eagles now have, and that will create a lot of ins in between the hash marks, a lot of stop routes, a lot of 10-yard ins, a lot of out routes overall for these tight ends. I think the tight end group is fantastic and will be even better, probably the best it's been in a very long time going into the 2020 season. Now, I keep saying the Eagles have the best tight end duo in the National Football League, but do you agree? Type Y down below for yes. If you don't agree, and you think someone other position group is better in terms of the tight end group in the NFL, then type N down below for no. But let me know what team that is, because I can't think of one that has a better overall tight end group, a better 1-2 punch than Philadelphia does right now going into this season. Number 2, offensive line. And I know you're thinking, Thomas, Brandon Brooks is injured this year. How is the offensive line going to be any good? Well, it's still fantastic even without Brandon Brooks. And even if they wanted to start Jack Driscoll at right guard, or you want to start Matt Pryor at right guard, I still think it'd be one of the best offensive line groups in the National Football League. Now, they did just re-sign Jason Peters, and we talked about that extensively, I think it was yesterday, on Philadelphia Eagles Now. And a lot of people are commenting, Thomas, he can't convert to right guard. Well, guess what? That's the plan. Everything that everyone is hearing in terms of the rumors inside Philadelphia is that they will move him to right guard. Now, is he going to be terrible at it? Who knows? Is it a big jump from left tackle? Possibly, but he's a very smart, a very skilled, and he's one of the best veteran O-linemen in the entire National Football League. If anyone can figure it out, it would be Jason Peters, and the hope is it's less physically demanding on the lower body, which has been his problem, at right guard than what it would normally be at left tackle. So even with whatever goes on at right guard, you still have Lane Johnson, and you still have solid depth overall on the Eagles' offensive line. And speaking of that depth, I mean, you just think about this. You have Jason Kelce, who's one of the best centers. He's a Pro Bowl center. He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's been fantastic in his career. You have, hopefully, a very productive Andre Dillard. Many people consider that he will be this year, including myself. And Isaac Seumalo, who we've talked about, is one of the most underrated right guards in the National Football, left guards in the National Football League. Plus Lane Johnson, who's fantastic. As we know, this is still an Eagles O-line that can dominate, and still an Eagles O-line that was 11th in rushing yards per game last year, 14th in sacks allowed, and those should only go up overall. One note on sacks allowed. Carson Wentz was sacked like 37 times last season, like 37, whatever it was. That's mainly because Carson Wentz is not under pressure all the time, even though there were times that he was, but he likes to extend the plays, and sometimes that will burn him by getting sacks. It also helps him out because he can throw a lot of more touchdowns. But the sacks, to me, as long as it's middle of the road, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 range, the Eagles are still doing a very good job of protecting him up front. But the rushing yards, especially with a healthy Miles Sanders, is going to go right through the roof. This will be a top 10 rushing team. One outside of the top 10 last year, but will be a top 10 rushing team in 2020. Mark my words on that one. Okay, what is the best Eagles position group? Again, let me know in the comment section down below. And also, the best position group to be in with the Philadelphia Eagles Now channel is by clicking the notification bell. So go down below and click that notification bell below the like button and right below the subscribe button. That way you guys can be notified whenever we drop the latest videos here on the channel, which is very, very often. We're going to do probably some more stuff tomorrow. So be notified whenever we drop that video. Okay. This one's easy, and you guys probably predicted this, but we got to say it. The number one position group on the Eagles has got to be their defensive line. It's absolutely fantastic. Does it have some flaws? Does it have some holes? Yes. Could they add to it? Sure. But right now, as it is, it's a top 5 defensive line unit. Might even be top 2, top 3 in the National Football League. So, not only did they add Javon Hargrave this offseason, who was a fantastic get, and everyone from Pittsburgh is saying, you guys got a winner, they also have a Malik Jackson who's 100% healthy, and still have room on the outside if they wanted to go ahead and make a move for an Everson Griffin or a Jadeveon Clowney. Now, if it was me to make this even better, I would go get Clowney or Everson Griffin. I would personally like to go get Everson Griffin because he was a Pro Bowler last year. He's cheaper than Clowney, and he's not the head case that Clowney is, but it's not a debate for this episode. That's a debate for another time. But overall, as a defense, they were 3rd against the run. They're always good against the run with Fletcher Cox. 13th in sacks, 9th in tackles for a loss, 9th in pressures, and 19th in hurries. The sacks are going to go up this year. The rushing will probably stay the same, but hopefully the pressures and hurries get into the top 5. The hurries are probably the problem here because Brandon Graham and Derek Barnett weren't terrible last year, but they weren't as good as they're hopefully going to be in 2020. Brandon Graham has kind of been up and down in his Eagles career. He's had a lot of good seasons, a couple of bad ones. Last one was kind of an average season overall. Derek Barnett has been the real roller coaster, though, because he's had flashy games and has had absolutely terrible games. And the hope is his 6.5 sacks and 30 tackles becomes 50 tackles and 10.5 sacks. That's the hope right now for Derek Barnett. If that's not the case this year, he's probably going to be let go in the offseason in Philadelphia. We'll have to go ahead and pick up somebody else. That's why I say go get Everson Griffin, sign him on a one-year deal. That way you don't hurt next year's cap, because the Eagles have cap room this year. Sign him on a one-year deal, mix him in there, and he becomes that veteran Chris Long type presence. And of course, Chris Long, a big key factor in the Eagles' Super Bowl run and the deep playoff run they went in 2018. Now, let me ask you guys this. Who will get more sacks in 2020? Barnett or Graham? Type B down below for Barnett, type G down below for Graham. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But the Eagles' defensive line, we know this, you guys understand this, I don't have to reiterate it, but it is one of the top 5 in the NFL. It only got better this year, and the hope is if they're all healthy, it will dominate yet again in Philadelphia, as it's done for the past couple of seasons. Now, there are some honorable mentions who did not make the top 4, but are right outside the top 4. One of that is wide receiver. I'm very excited about the wide receiver group this year, probably just because it actually has talent, whereas last year it was so injured, it had basically no talent. They're all a year young, older, minus the rookies, and they should all be a lot better. So they were close, but no cigar. The cornerback spot, I think, is grossly underrated because everyone is hating on Avonte Maddox, and of course, Sidney Jones, who will play the nickel slot, unless it's Nikhil Roby-Coleman. But the secondary, I think, is going to be a lot better, so they were up there on my list. And finally, running back, with Miles Sanders probably popping off like I keep predicting he is going to. If someone can be the true number 2, whether it's Clement, whether it's Boston Scott, the running back group could be a candidate maybe in 2021 to be one of the best 4 position groups on the Philadelphia Eagles. But my list, again, from 4, quarterback, next would be tight end, then offensive line, and then defensive line. The Eagles are a very good football team. They have a lot of talent in a lot of places, but those are my top 4 overall position groups on Philadelphia. So if I'm right, give it a thumbs up. If I'm wrong, let me know about it in the comment section down below. All the time we have for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I think we're going to do a news video tomorrow. There's been some more Eagles stuff we're going to talk about as we kind of mix things up here on the channel. So make sure you're notified and subscribe for that one, as you already should be because you're a fan of the channel. But stay tuned for that, as we always do here. For Chat Sports, I am Thomas Mott. For Philadelphia Eagles Now, I'm Thomas Mott. Let's go ahead and sign off. Hope you guys stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your day.